Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. We're going to be talking about BimmerCode and just some things that I've coded with this car and a couple of bonus items that I did not code with this car, but I'll explain that later. So, coding isn't really modifying. It is to a form, but think of it like this. It's like these features are already enabled in the car. They just turned off for some reason, either legal reasons or the reasons because, no, excuse me, you know what the USA for safety. All right, so let's start with the one option. This is my tailgate. If you guys are familiar with the tailgate, you cannot close it with the button on the remote control. Or if you're inside the car, you can open it from the remote, and then you can open it from here, but you cannot close it. All right, so one of the things I did, first thing I did was code it so I could actually shut it from the remote. So pressing and holding, and I can stop it anytime I want. All right, and the same goes for when I'm inside the vehicle too. I can open it and close it from the driver's door. All right. One of the next things I coded with the car, I changed the what they call the acoustical lock confirmation. I changed that to slightly slower. I don't know why, but I think it sounds better when it's not as fast as beep beep. It's just beep beep. But anyway, you can hear yourself. You're gonna lock it for it's kind of a longer beep than when you unlock it. So that's how I have it. And you probably noticed the mirrors open and close at the same time. Yep, that's one of the features I coded. I coded the mirrors to close when the car's locked, and then also fold when it's locked. Now I can also unlock it if I press it here, quick release, it doesn't fold. But if I press and hold, see, so like that too. You can change that the key as well. You can make it sure where the key you have to press and hold just like a second delay, and then they'll close the mirrors, or you can leave them open. I just have it so it just, as soon as I hit it, it locks it. All right, so now I'm sure you're familiar with how the sunroof opens and the windows go down when you press unlock. So everybody's familiar with that, you know. And like I said, you can see here inside the sunroof, everything is opening. That's just how the car is set from the factory, but you can't close it, not from the remote. Safety reasons, because they're saying, you know, what if I were to close this, not be near the car, and someone has their hands here and then they get pinched, and you know, so on and so forth. But I coded it so now if I want to shut it, press hold the lock, and the sunroof is going to shut as well. As long as I hold that button down, anytime I want to stop it, I just release it. All right. So one of the next things that I have coded in here was the BMW M startup screen. Default, I'm sure you already know what it is. When you turn the car on, it says BMW Connected Drive. You see a little swirly little grid thing, but I figured since this is an M Sport, I know it's not a true M, so hopefully I'm not posing, but it's not, it's M Sport. I changed it to the M startup screen, which is the same M from like the X5M. One of the things I coded too, I coded the headlight washers to do 3 sprays instead of 2. Typically, if we go like Tahoe, I just wanted to make sure it knocks off all the snow and ice off the headlights, so it gives it more chance, and I have it so it does a little bit more water. Now you're probably thinking, well, Eddie, aren't you gonna like mess up your paint? You know, nobody wants that on there the whole time. Well, the good thing is BMW's headlight washer system does not activate until the 3rd spray and the lights are on. So most likely when I spray my windshield, once, twice, usually that's good enough to get the windshield clean. Any more than that, then I doubt this is going to matter too much when I'm getting washer fluid all over the top of the car and the sides and stuff, because that's a lot of fluid that's coming out of here. So like I said, if I'm requiring this much amount, then what's another little bit on the hood here? It'll be annoying if it was like my Audi, for example. My Q7 was the first initial spray, it would initiate the headlight washer and it would spray the headlight. I think my Mercedes was the same way. It would, the first initial one, it would just spray the headlight. But yeah, that's what I have mine coded for, and it hasn't really bothered me too much because I never really needed it, but I know it was there. And also too, even for this spray, I still have that 10-minute block time, which can be changed in the coding options. You can change it so, you know what, I don't want it to spray 3 squirts, so I don't want, or you completely disable it. If you say somewhere, you know what, I am never going to need that, then you can turn it off and just code it off and never have to worry about it. Another thing I coded so my fog lights are on with the parking lights. Now I've had BMWs in the past, well, one BMW in the past, and I noticed that, you know, even when I drove an E36, you could enable the fog lights independent from the headlights. It wasn't even a thing, and I was surprised that you had to have them on. Why do I want them on? Goes back again, you know, from on a dark road driving heavy snow, lights are reflecting speed around me. I'm trying away from him. But you know, heavy snow, whatever, you can independently, or also to, I mean, if I want to take a picture of the car or whatever, you know, just whatever I want. I've also talked about on my video about secrets and tips and things like that. I've talked about the adaptive brake light being basically when you brake, this strip eliminates. When you brake hard, this bottom one, I think it's right here, eliminates. Right here on the white, that turns red when you brake hard. I have that set for medium braking instead of just weak. I think default weak, but I don't want that coming on for every time I brake initially. I want it to just, you know, if I'm braking hard, then yeah, that, or medium, that's kind of like where I want people to catch people's attention. I was looking to see in there if there's a way to have it kind of pulse. I didn't see it in the settings. I'm sure there is a way. I've seen other people do it before. Again, not a big deal, because, you know, as long as I have something back there that helps out, that's a feature that you never really expect to have in the car. Another feature. Now, this is something that I did not code myself. When I bought my Stealth hitch, it came with coding, which is done through the E Sys system, which is the Ethernet cable, or through a laptop. You know, it was done remotely, but he was able to code the air conditioning to stay off. So when I turn the car off, the air conditioning is off, it memorizes, it stays off. You know, default, no matter what happens, that car turns the air conditioning back on, and you always have to forcibly turn it off. One of the next things that I had him code was the seat ventilation. He was able to increase the airflow, basically have him put a little bit more because I felt like they're weak. My thoughts, they're still weak. I don't feel this second car I've had with ventilated seats, and doesn't, I just don't know. The only the cars that I felt like make a difference is Lexi's IS 350 I liked hers. Hers worked really well. And then before I bought this car, this actually X5, I tested a Porsche Cayenne Turbo. All right, the Cayenne Turbo worked really well. It was almost cold, but unfortunately I could not find a Cayenne Turbo with the options that I wanted, and I just felt like at the time the BMW was the best bang for my buck, which I still feel that way. All right, going forward now, another feature he coded was the Euro headlights, the Euro high beam, I should say. And if you don't know what that is, there are videos on that. I can show you a little bit, some couple clips here. But basically what it'll do is, if it turns the high beam off on either the left or the right side of the vehicle, depending on where traffic is, sometimes it can, if I'm approaching a car from behind and the high beams are on, it can leave on the left and the right side, and lets it leave a tunnel in front of the car in front of me. That way he never gets blinded by any light. Benefit is I can still see the sides of the road, and then he never gets blinded. I find that works extremely well. I'm really impressed how well that works. If you live in a dark road, like for me, I don't get to take advantage of it very much because I live mostly in the city, and then the little urban roads I get onto, lately I feel like traffic's been increasing on it more, so I hardly ever see it, the benefits working, because most of the time it's just always off and the right side's mostly on. But it is nice, it's like when I go to some places where it is extremely dark and some dark heavy roads. For one, I have the adaptive lights that bend, that's standard. But just seeing the lights move, and turning off the left side, and then as the traffic's approaching is moving, the left headlight is dipping the beam and then moving it over to the left as far as it can until the traffic comes that side, turns it off, then turns back on. It's amazing to see this computer's work, that magic. And then another feature that I coded, I almost forgot about this one, the seat heater. By default, I forgot what temperature it is, maybe 38, 42 degrees Celsius. I had the high temperature basically become the low temperature, and then increased it from there. So I used the highest setting, which is like 48 or 52 degrees Celsius, as my, you can change it basically independent. You can have different heat settings for the backrest and the seat cushion. I had them kind of both similar, and I just increased the temperature. What I liked about it the most is now when I demand like super hot temperature, like I say, if I'm in a cold climate, I can get that. I'm not feeling like, oh, it's just moderate. I can feel some heat. Like I want it to toast me, when I need it, but I can still control it. So those are just some features that I coded with my X5. There's a lot more customizations you can do in there. You can make it so that daytime lights are on in the back. I mean, there's videos on it. I'm sure you guys may have seen it before. I'm considering doing another code where I can code so when I unlock the car, your parking lights come on by default, but I can code it so the fog lights can illuminate. Kind of like how my Mercedes and my Audi did by default. So I want to know, I might think about doing it myself. I'm not sure if I should do it or not. I don't know. There's so many different options. Like I said, you just get the app and a OBD2 device. This is a Bluetooth device that I have here, ordered from Amazon. So I've been messing around with this, between this one and the M3 for a little bit, and it's been working pretty well, so I can actually recommend it. You probably can't see it now, but I have it so when I'm in vehicle information, vehicle status, tire pressure monitor, I not only have the pressure, but I have the temperature as well. So well, I need that. What comes on the M's most likely for track and stuff, but from towing and not, I know if there's a lot of pressure on the back tires, I know, hey, you know what, there's tires increasing in pressure, blah blah blah. I can make my adjustments from there. Another feature that was coded was the digital speedometer here, right there. So you see right there, got a digital speedometer. That was the E Sys coding that was done with the guy when he did the coding from the stealth hitch. And also when he did that, obviously that which came with it, that was by not my choice, but that was just came with the features itself. Was he has me, I get the trailer zoom, so you can see exactly where your hitch is. So when I have a hitch attached, you can see exactly where the ball is. The ball usually sits right there, and it tells you exactly where you're aiming for. It's pretty cool. I can hitch up to the trailer one try, not needing a spotter. All right, so how do you code? You want to say? So first you need the BimmerCode app. So with that being said, you get this app. You can then code your car, assuming you purchase a Bluetooth OBD2 device that's compatible with it. I recommend checking out their website. They have a list of approved OBD2 devices. I use this one. And you know who does really good videos on coding is this channel, Thick F30. He has done a few on the F30 chassis, so 3 Series BMWs, and I think he has. Whoa, my lights went out. Hold on a second. So I know he's done a few with that, and I've actually picked up a lot of his knowledge of coding from his videos. So if you want more in-depth explanation, check out his videos, but I'll run through this very quickly. You need one of these. Obviously, this one's made by Veepeak. And all I'll do, I'm just gonna plug it in through my OED. Came on, Bluetooth light, I mean, is on. They always say put your phone in airplane mode, right? And now you're gonna pair that device with the car. So I'm gonna turn my car on. I'm gonna turn the lights off so I don't drain the battery, and the air conditioning off. I'll start. So I'm gonna connect. So you hit connect, you choose what device you have, it remembers, and here's all the other ones, all the adapters they have, and you can have links to them. So this is the one I have here. Connect. It's now going to read my ECU. And as it's reading, it takes a little bit of time for it to connect. And then you pick like basically which car you have. So, make sure you pick the correct car. I have the F15 BMW X5. All right, just gonna check, read the VIN number, and from this point, it's going to identify a few things, make sure everything's correct. Now they say, recommend put your car on a battery charger. I personally don't. I have a strong battery, I know, in my car, so I don't need to. But if you feel like you don't want to risk it, put your battery on a battery charger just to prevent anything from happening. This is mainly because you don't want to be in the middle of a coding and the battery dies, or like I said, your phone's on airplane mode and someone calls you. So it's just one of the things where you want to protect it, make sure it runs through its full coding just before anything happens, because you can mess up the ECU that way. Fortunately, there are backups. So each time you do a code on here, it does back it up for you. All right, so here's everything you can do. Let's see, remember we talked about the tailgate function module. That's one thing. So it reads that data here. You can have the tail lights act as daytime lights also. So I know some of the older E-chassis cars, if your angel eyes are on with the daytime lights, the tail lights will be on as well, and they change it later on, it's just the front is on. But you can actually default that back to having the tail lights are on as well. You can choose if you want, basically if you want to code it your side markers. So if you don't know what that means, if you have the little amber side marker on as your light, you can code this out if you want. For me, it's not a big deal. I know some people do it just to have that cleaner look. You can code that out too. Here in the head unit, I can change if I want that's where my M startup for the iDrive. I think default was connected drive, either 1 or 2, I can't remember. But you get different ones you can change. You can have the mini startup screen if you want. Here's where I have the temperature on mine. You can display the full text message. Let's see. If you want the video in motion, you can make that. Basically, there's different things. But guys, just a quick skim over. You, like I said, get the app, check it out. I recommend not going expert mode because you can really screw things up. This is a safer way that you can code your car that the developer has put into the app. But like I said, if you want a little more in depth of coding, check out his channel because he does really well. He does really good content on that. But guys, thanks for watching and subscribe.